Okay, cash flow properties. A lot of people think that you need to follow the masses and buy properties with a cap rate of 6 or 7%. And what that means is the return that it's bringing you is 6 or 7%. Well, that's not; those aren't sexy returns, right? So there are not that many homes that you can buy that are going to produce bigger returns. But I personally know from my own experience that you can find 20% or better cash on cash returns by knowing the kind of property that will yield this. I'm not sharing this information because I'm trying to sell you any of these particular properties, but I do want you to know that it is possible. Now, of course, you're going to need a little bit of capital in order to do this, but a property for even $225,000, if you're putting 20% down, which is the minimum required for an investment property, you're looking at $45,000 plus your transfer tax and legal fees. It's $50,000. So, in order to get these kind of returns, you need to have about $50,000 in working capital. But again, $225,000. People think, well, what can I buy? Buying a condo? No, we're not buying a condo because a $225,000 condo is going to rent for $1,000 a month, and it'll just cover the mortgage and break even. And in some people's minds, breaking even is fantastic, but we're not in this business. In fact, you could get rich buying properties that broke even, and then in a long enough timeline, the property would go up in value, the mortgage would be paid off by the tenant, and on its own, that's a wonderful investment. But if you're looking to create residual income, which is passive cash flow that will pay for your lifestyle and your bills, you obviously need to exceed this break-even point. So the type of property that I've identified that works really, really well is a duplex or a half duplex. So the example I gave you with $225,000, there is a couple of ones that I know, one on Gordon Drive, that they're 2 stories with separate entrances. So what you're looking to have is a half of a duplex that you can turn into 2 apartments. It doesn't matter if they're illegal suites, although it costs a little bit more to take an illegal suite and make it legal, and you have to have the right zoning. What we're looking for are 2 apartments that will rent for, the upstairs one will probably get $1,050, maybe $1,100. In good times, $1,200, $1,300 is possible, and then the basement suite's going to get between $900 and $1,000. I get $1,000 a month for all of my basement suites. I never go below that, so you don't need to. So with a $225,000 half duplex, and they're out there, and I know of a couple of them right now that even have basement suites ready to go, you're pulling $2,100 a month. So if you look at the mechanics of this now, you're going to have a mortgage. So I said you have to put $50,000 down. You're going to have a mortgage of about $175,000. That payment will be $780 a month. When you add property taxes, which are going to be about $1,800 for the year, so another $150, and you add a little bit of vacancy allowance, so say a couple months a year for vacancy, you're still producing $2,000 a month gross, less a little vacancy allowance, less the taxes. Your net cash flow will be over $1,000 a month. Now, $1,000 a month is $12,000 over a year. On your $50,000, that's over 20%. 20% on $50,000 would be $10,000 for the year. If you make $12,000, you're at 23 or 24%. That's a phenomenal cash on cash return. Now, that doesn't even consider the fact that there's equity being paid off. There's probably $3,000 or $4,000 in your first year of equity paid off, and the market typically does appreciate 3 to 5% per year. So if you look at the 5-year picture on this, the return on investment is staggering. So that's one example of the kind of property that you can get started on right now with $50,000 down. You can start building your portfolio, create $1,000 a month in passive cash flow. This is something that I personally have done a number of times over, and it's fantastic because 25 years from now I'm going to wake up and there's going to be millions of dollars worth of real estate that's paid off, and I'll still have the cash flow that comes from the rentals. So it's something I believe wholeheartedly in, and I would just love nothing more than to help educate some people and how they can do it for themselves, because really it's not challenging to do. It's not rocket science. It's just it's knowing what kind of property to find and going after it. So I mean, the half duplex really is probably the best example, and I do have a list of 2 or 3 at all times that will work. And And like I say, it's the number one cash flow property that I can recommend right now to my clients, to my friends. Hope you found this information helpful. I'm more than happy to delve way deeper into this. If you want to connect with me, you can find me on our Facebook page. You can add me to Skype. You can text me 864-6433. I'd love to become friends with you and tell you everything it is that I know, because I got into this business to help people make money and get into real estate and fulfill their dreams through real estate. So I'd like nothing more than to be able to help you with that. Thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.